If you like this video and want to see more, then please subscribe to the channel. You can see, you can hear, this bush is not in great condition because you can just rip the rubber. So the set of bushes that I've decided to go for is from a company called Polybush. They do them individually. Unfortunately, they only do a front set at the moment. I'm hoping maybe they'll come out with a rear set. So this is a kit for the XK8 and the XKR, just the front, and the contents is the bushes for the upper wishbones and the lower wishbone front, lower wishbone rear, front anti-roll bar bush, and the front anti-roll bar link lower bush. So I have actually fitted the main anti-roll bar bush already, but these are the bushes that go in the links. So I've got a new set of links, so what you have to do is remove these bushes here and replace them with these. You then got 8 bushes that go in the upper link. You've got 2 front lower wishbone bushes and 2 rear lower wishbone bushes. So I've just pressed this bearing out of this here, doing this in a vise using a 22mm socket on one side to cover the outside so the bush could then move into that socket, and on the other side I used a 14mm socket. So let's give this second one a go. So I made sure it's central across here so it pushes evenly. So you just tighten it down and it should push through. So that wasn't too difficult. So if you have a look at the poly bushes for the anti-roll bar drop links, you get a bush, a sleeve and a washer for each side. Now, contrary to a lot of other manufacturers of poly bushes, they don't recommend installing these with any form of grease. They just simply say use soapy water, which will evaporate away, and the bushes should be sufficiently tight afterwards not to squeak. So that's what I'm going to do, and I hope they are correct. And it also says you can put these in with a G-clamp or a hand operated one, so I'm going to give that a go. I've actually resorted just to put it in the vise, and let's see if that will go in. There we go, that's the result. There's 2. I'll put all these back in for safekeeping until I install them in the car. Okay, I got the upper wishbone from the left hand side in the vise. I need to take out these two bushes here. I've already done that on the other side, but the ball joint I can't move at all, so I'm going to have to get a machine shop or a local garage to assist me in doing that. There's not much space on the back to push it through, so the way I found to do these is I basically cut off the end of one of these bushes and then they can push through. You can see this end is completely gone. It's just falling straight out. And so is the other one. So these certainly needed changing. And as you can see in the hole, there's a lot of scale. So I'm going to grind some of that away. Obviously you don't want to grind it away too much, because you can't afford to enlarge the hole too much. You could use a die grinder, but I'm going to use just a rotary file in a normal drill and just go a little bit gently, and probably finish it off in the blaster once I've loosened the worst of it. Okay, hopefully you can see that. That's the hole, nicely cleaned. There is a few pits in there from the corrosion, but that's nothing to worry about. So let's just get it treated. So the last part of the installation of the polybush is this upper wishbone. So you've got 4 of these bushes to go in. They're all exactly the same. Obviously one either side of here on both of them. These push in really easy, just with some soap and water, and you just put them in the vise and they'll just squeeze in. So in the tub I've just got a little bit of washing up liquid in water for the lubricant. There we go. I want to get the bracket off of the ride height sensor. There's a bolt goes through there, and I want to split this in 2 as well so I can get all of this in the media blaster. So the first thing, as always, you give it a really good spray. So I've got the impact driver here. I've got 2 step downs on the end, and then it's a T60 bit on the end. So let's see if we can get that to move. I've only got this at setting 1. Backwards and forwards. There we go. Put that up a notch. So it'll be easier. I can get that into a vise and take that nut and bolt out and get all of this sprayed up. I'll get these two out as well. The ones on the other side were in okay condition, but they're 17 years old, so I think it's wise to get them changed. The ball joint down here, that looks in serviceable condition, but I'm going to get that changed at the same time. I need to get to a machine shop in order to get these pressed out because I haven't got the equipment here to do it. This here, the ride level sensor bracket, it's 10mm nut and an 8mm bolt. There we go. So this is one of the lower wishbone bushes. All 4 bushes, 2 on each side, come out the same. So what I've done, I've ground away the edge of the bush and with a cold chisel just chiseled it away and then chiseled this out of the way. It then means that I can get a 62mm sleeve on here. The size of the sleeve needs to be big enough so that the bush can push from in here up into here. So on the other side, let's measure the diameter of this. If you can see that there, that measures just over 45mm. So I've got a socket that is a millimetre smaller than that. So that goes on this side, so that will act as the pusher for the bush. Got a bush removing kit. It comprises of various items. I'll just show it to you actually. So it's got many different sizes. It's made up of some bar with nuts on either end. These are all got ball bearings in to help it turn and reduce friction. It's got 4 end plates of various sizes, and all of these different steps fit inside all of these sizes here. So the way you should assemble it is this end nut always goes into one of these plates just in there. I'll put that one through. Then put the socket on. And there's a plate that goes on behind. So each time I use this, I'll try and use a different part of the thread just to even out the wear. Because obviously you put the threads under an awful lot of tension. So you wind it in so it gets quite close, and then you position it finally. So on one end you get an adjustable spanner. In this case it's something that's known in the aircraft trade as a Boeing spanner, and on the other end you put an appropriate size spanner and you turn it. It will start to get quite hard. Hopefully this will just crack and start moving. Again. was actually the bush moving in here. I'll go tight again, and the further in you go, the looser it starts to get. Tight. Each time I tap it, you can hear the first tap is a different sound, and that's it, just moving slightly. As you can tell, it's just a little bit looser. So you can see that's moved out a little way already. This one is very, very tight. So I'll keep going as I was. So as you go further through, it starts to go a lot easier. The one on the other side wasn't as tight as this. Through. As you can see, it's out. There's a little bit of corrosion in there, which I'll get cleaned up. Also in there, the lip. We've got the lower wishbone from the left hand side of the car, just reassembling it. You have the two bolts that go through here, going obviously through the main body of this particular arm, and then screw into here. You've got the two plates that the shock absorber bolts into. It's quite clear which way around this one goes because it's got the bigger hole there that that big screw goes through. And the only thing to bear in mind is the plate on this side, the joggle goes out to give enough space for the shock absorber to go through. It's not such a big issue if you've only got one disassembled, because it's quite obvious which way around it goes, because these two holes here have to align. But if you were to pick up the plate from the other side, it's very easy just to fit that the wrong way around. And then you've got the sway bar link as well. That's just one bolt that goes through. You've then got a washer on the end and a nut. So I'm going to torque up this lower bolt here to 55 Newton meters, and the main bolts that go through the centre there, they're between 128 and 172, so I'm going to do those to 150 Newton meters. I'll put the bolts in with Never Sees, which is a copper grease based paste. I think it's similar to Copper Ease, but it's silver in colour. So I've aligned the torque wrench there. This is 149.2 Newton meters with the 0 straight on there, so that's close enough to 150. So you've got 13 millimeters on this side and 15 millimeters on the other side. There we go. So that's now ready to be bolted on.